Let's see if that's working. Yeah. Is it working? It's working. We're live. We're doing it. Here we go. Excellent connection. That's good. Hey, Zishan. Long time no see. Oh, you want to be in the live video? Sure. Why not? Yeah, sure. We can go live with Zishan. Hey, Frank Molino. Hello. So, yeah, we're just doing our weekly ESL Q&A right now. So, if anybody has any English questions, I'd be happy to hear them. Hey, Zishan, how's it going, buddy?
Sir, long time no see.
Yeah, no kidding. Yeah, I've been missing you in the live stream. Got any questions for us?
Yes. Thank you for being with me. Long time no see.
Yeah, sure.
It's about confusion, but first of all, I have been missed.
You've been what now?
Can you show your face?
Yeah, I'm right here. Can you see me?
You're not being sure.
I've got the camera on. I don't know. Yeah, whatever. So what do you got for us, Zishan? You got some questions or what?
Yes, the question about a little bit about confusion about it and there about the subject.
It and there as subjects?
Yeah.
Okay.
Simple subject here.
Okay, so it versus there as a subject, right? Okay, sure. Let me write that down. It versus there as a subject.
I'm not seeing it.
I don't know. I don't know why. I'm not sure why, but I've got the camera on. Maybe the connection is just too slow.
Is there any problem with the camera?
No, I don't think so. Not that I'm aware of. Yeah, I don't think so.
What's the problem then?
I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. Let's see here. I'm going to hang this up so that we can get a better connection, and then I'll answer your question. Okay, so let me... how do I do that, actually? Okay, here we go. Let's get you out of here. Okay, here's Tibes. Frank waved. Hey, Frank. Tibes Silva says you're great. Hey, well, thank you. Thank you very much. So Zishan was asking it versus there as subjects. All right. That's what Zishan was asking about. Hey, Chowdhury. Thanks for coming. So, it versus there as a subject. All right. So, let's write that down here as subjects. Now, it, of course, that's a pretty standard pronoun. All right, it's nothing crazy happening there, but there can be what we can refer to that as like it is a pronoun. There it can be referred to as a quote unquote non-referential subject, or as a quote unquote dummy subject, right? So it versus there. There is a dummy or a non-referential subject. We're just kind of using it when there isn't really a subject. All right. Zishan, you already joined the video, so if you have another question, you can just you can send it as a text. All right. You can do it like this. There's actually a little question button. All right. So, if anybody wants to see what I'm writing or like doing in my notes, you can watch on YouTube. So you can find my YouTube channel in the link tree in my profile on Instagram. Okay, so you can watch on YouTube. That way you can see what I'm actually writing down. Right. So when we're using there as a dummy subject, we're usually using it to introduce a thing. All right, something. We're introducing something with it. Right? So it as a standard pronoun, that means usually we have to introduce it first, right? The Louvre is fantastic. It is my favorite museum. All right. So here I'm using it to refer to the Louvre, right, as being fantastic. So I don't have to repeat it. Right? The Louvre is fantastic. The Louvre is my favorite museum. Right? Okay, I could say that, but it sounds weird and repetitive. Right? But there as a subject, now this is dummy, non-referential. So you're looking different now. By face, I mean great. Maybe a shaved, perhaps, or I did get a haircut, shave and a haircut. All right. Thanks, Zishan. Yeah. That happens a few times a year. I should probably shave and get a haircut more often, but I don't. So I'm like that. Let's take a look at YouTube and see if anybody's commenting or doing anything on there. Nope, not yet. That's fine. Don't worry about it. Hey, Shazab. Thanks for coming. If you have any ESL questions, let me know. Currently, we're talking about it versus their as subjects. Okay? So it is just a standard pronoun, very normal, as to where there is non-reference. It's a dummy subject, right? Usually we use it by saying there is or there are. All right, so let's use a similar example, like with the Louvre. All right, there is a great museum in Paris called the Louvre. All right. So here I'm using there is to introduce just the existence of a thing, right? The Louvre is a fantastic museum in Paris. We could also just say that, right? That's fine. There are some kids in the street. Right? So here I'm using there are as my dummy subject or non-referential subject to introduce the idea of these kids in the street. All right? Let's show you guys this here just so you can see it, but you can always see my writing on YouTube if you watch on YouTube. Hey, Prince, thanks for coming. And Vidya, thanks for coming. And Prince says hi. Hi, Prince, hi. So it versus there is the subjects. All right, so it is a standard pronoun. There is a dummy or non-referential subject that we just use to basically introduce the existence of a thing. So, who can try out some example sentences? One for it, one for there is or there are. Want to try it out? I'll give you guys, let's say a minute or two to type something down. Impersonal subjects and dummy subjects. I think so. I've never heard of the term impersonal subject before. It can be called a dummy subject or a non-referential subject. Let me look that up. An impersonal subject. Impersonal subject. There is a cat under my bed. Perfect. Right? There we go. Try us, give us a there are. Hey there, Mocha Sorry, I can't read that. But hi, thanks for coming. If you have any ESL questions, let me know. It is 11 p.m. It is cloudy. Sure, yeah, we can use it like that. That's fine. An impersonal subject in grammar is a pronoun or other construction used to make a statement without referring to a specific person or thing. The most common impersonal subject is it. So, no, dummy subjects or non-referential subjects are not quite the same as an impersonal subject. I guess an impersonal subject is just anything that's not a person, right? So that's the it. It's not a he or a she or a they. It's an it, right? There are many dogs in my city. Great. Perfect. Right? So the impersonal is more like the it, right? The dummy is more like the there is, there are. Right, so pretty nice though. Yeah, pretty nice. So no, they're not quite the same thing, but I was thinking maybe. There aren't any billionaires in my city. Well, maybe not, but maybe there is. I don't know. Maybe there are. I mean, I don't know. There could be some billionaires in your city. Who knows? Right? I want to speak English fluently. Okay, sure. There's a cat in street. It is a blackish cat. There's a cat in the street, Zishan, right? So street is still a noun, so we need to have the street. It's a piece of cake. There is no stopping for the rain to fall. Okay. There isn't anyone who felt unsatisfied after watching your live stream. Hopefully, right? Moklis. Well, he says he wants to speak English fluently. So that doesn't seem like a question to me. That's more of a statement. But I'm going to interpret it as a question. So I'm going to interpret that as saying, how can I speak English fluently? Right? So there are a few banks in our city. Okay, Zishan, that's pretty close, but a few equals more than one. So we should say there are a few banks in our city. Right, that would be better. All right. Can noun phrases act as adverbials? That's a pretty interesting question there. Can you give me an example of what you mean by that, Prince? Try to give me an example. Now, as far as speaking fluently goes, right, the fluency is going to be more often a measurement of like how easily you speak English, the way that it flows, fluent, fluid, fluidity, fluency, how well your English flows. So that's kind of separate. It's apart from kind of like your grammatical skill or accuracy. It's also kind of apart from your vocabulary level or whatever. Fluency is more of a matter of experience. Okay, so the best way to increase your fluency is talking more. Right? You need to try your best to find more ways to speak English more often, and that will help increase your fluency. Right? Now, will that necessarily increase your accuracy or your understanding? Well, no. Right? You can be highly fluent. You can have a good degree of fluency, but still have a lot of grammatical problems and inaccuracies. That's still possible. Okay? So, keeping that in mind, but the more you speak English and the more often you can do it, typically the better your fluency will be. I watched the movie last Sunday. In this sentence, the noun phrase last Sunday is functioning as an adverbial, though it is a noun phrase. Am I right? Well, last Sunday, Sunday is a noun, but here we're using it as a reference of time, right? So, yeah, it's totally an adverbial. Yeah, next Sunday, last Sunday, with these adverbials of time, tomorrow, yesterday, in 5 minutes, in an hour, in a week, next year, last year. Yeah, I mean, technically, I guess, week, year, Sunday, tomorrow, those can be referred to as nouns, right? Do you have anything to do tomorrow? What would you like to do tomorrow? I guess we could find some way to use them as nouns, but yeah, I mean, more often they are going to be used as an adverbial of time, yes. So, what was the original question? Can noun phrases act as adverbials? Sure, yeah, but I wouldn't even refer to those adverbials as noun phrases because they're not functioning as a noun in the sentence, right? They're functioning as an adverb or an adverbial, right? So that's kind of what an adverbial is an adverb, but with multiple words. A multi-word adverb is an adverbial, and if it has multiple words in it, there's a very good chance one of them will be a noun. Pretty normal. But, wait a minute. What is the difference in little, a little, and the little? Okay. I would say what's the difference between those ones, right? What's the difference between little, a little, and the little? Well, let's write these down, right? So, actually, let's just type it. I think it'll be easier to type that. Size 24 font. What's the difference between, quote unquote, little, a little, and the little? Interesting question, Zishan. Yeah, I'm always happy to get some good questions like that. This is going to make things a lot easier for me to do a live stream if we get some nice questions, all right? So, little, this is going to be more of an adjective, right? We're describing something with little, all right? Look at that, let's look at it. Look at that little puppy. Puppy. It's so cute. All right. Okay. A little. This could also be, we could say like, there is a little puppy outside. It's so cute, right? We could still be using that, I guess, as like an adjective, but, a puppy, a little puppy, okay. All right, but I think what you're talking about is using it as a, what's the technical term? I forget the technical term, but I typically just call it a measure word or like a measuring phrase. Is that a determiner? All right, so measure word. All right, we can use this in like a request. Can I have a little water, please? So here we're using it like some equals a little. Right? We can use this as like some. All right. So we can use this as a measure word for uncountable nouns. All right, or a determiner for uncountable nouns. All right. But not countable plural nouns. Right, so I want a little sugar for my tea, please. All right, or we can use it as an offer. Would you like a little sugar for your tea? Something like that. But like some can be used with plural nouns, right? Would you like some cookies? All right, that's fine. Some can be used with plural nouns. Quote unquote, a little cannot be used with plural nouns. All right. Would you like a little cookies? Wrong. Right, it doesn't work anymore. So using a little as a determiner, we can use it as a determiner or a measure word for uncountable nouns. Right? Then the little, the is, our article for specifics, right? Specific things. So like the little puppy outside is so cute, right? So that's when I'm clearly specifying a certain puppy. Does that help? So here's, again, if you want to see what I'm typing or writing, you can watch directly on YouTube. That'll make it easier for you. But here you go. You can always come back to YouTube and watch the recording later as well. That's also fine. All right. So here's my writing on the matter. Okay, so little is just basically just an adjective. A little, in the way that you're asking, I believe you're referring to that as the determiner. A little time, a little milk, a little sugar. So we're going to be using that as a determiner or a measure word for uncountable nouns. And then the little, that's when you're just specifying something with the article the. All right, can I have a cup? Sure, which one? The little one. The little cup. So we're still just using little there as an adjective. All right, so now Universal Prince has something here. Let's see. He says, in all your videos, you say that every idiom functions as one kind of parts of speech. Okay. Can you tell us the ways to identify which parts of speech idioms belongs to? Idioms is plural, so you only need to say belong to. All right. Which part of speech idioms belong to? Well, we can determine it, right? But really, you just have to look at the grammar of the sentence. Where and how is the idiom being used? All right. Let's think of some examples here, right? Let's write some stuff down here again on my notes. All right. I am the big cheese in my very small company. All right. So, big cheese. What kind of idiom is that? Is it idiomatic verb, adjective, noun? Well, we have a little hint here. It says the. All right, so I am the big cheese. So big cheese is being introduced by the. Must be a noun. All right. I was looking up how to do a better live stream. All right. Looking up. All right. Okay. So what is that? All right. I was looking up. I was running. I was walking. Like, what other kinds of words could we put there? And what kind of word is it? It's a verb. All right. Okay. So that's a phrasal verb. All right. Let me think of some idiomatic adjective. Yeah. Here we go. No, that's an idiomatic noun. What's a good idiomatic adjective I could use for an example? Gosh, one is not coming to mind. Let me think here. I'm on the spot. I don't know. I can't think of a good idiomatic adjective right this moment, but maybe one will come to me in a minute. So, I mean, the best way that you can identify what part of speech some idiom or idiomatic language belongs to is just analyzing the sentence. Right? You have to look at the sentence. What position or what role is that idiom playing grammatically in the sentence? So, this is actually also a skill that I tell people or that I teach people for the IELTS. All right, so like on the reading part or the listening part, we have to sometimes make predictions. Like we look at the question, it's like in a sentence completion exercise or a summary completion exercise. There's like a blank in there. one of the first things that we should be doing on those types of questions on the IELTS or the TOEFL is trying to make a prediction. What kind of word is that? Are we looking for a preposition? Are we looking for a noun, an adjective, a verb, an article? All right, so making those kinds of predictions by looking at the sentence. There's a missing word, there's a missing piece. What grammatical place does that take? Does that help? I don't know. Hopefully that helps. I'm a little bit behind on the chat here. Shoot. I was answering some questions, so let me scroll up through here. Do we have to pronounce the differently based on its placement in the sentence, i.e. we pronounce we say the differently. Do we have to pronounce the differently based on the placement in the sentence, i.e. we pronounce the differently when it is placed before vowels and consonants? Yeah, I mean, technically we should. The boys, the energy. We should be saying the before like another vowel sound because we don't like vowel sounds touching each other in English. The boys, right? So now we don't like consonant sounds touching each other either. We like to go vowel, consonant, vowel, consonant. But frankly, it doesn't really matter. Not really. Could we do that? Could we worry about that? Yeah, but it doesn't matter. Don't worry about that, okay? It doesn't matter. I wouldn't really worry about it. Just do whatever feels good, whatever feels easier to you, okay? Some things, they're just not important enough to really bother with. There's a lot more to worry about, like your grammar, your pronunciation, your vocabulary. Later on, when you feel like you're doing really, really well in English, you just know everything you wanted to know, you know everything you need to know, then you can start worrying about other kinds of minutiae like that. That's what I would call like a grammatical or syntactical minutiae. It's like some very small, kind of unimportant detail that it doesn't matter that much. Don't worry about that. Who cares, honestly? I don't care. Most of my students have bigger problems and bigger concerns, like passing the IELTS or getting a job interview. Measure word, quantifiers, determiners. Right, yeah, measure words, quantifiers, determiners. There's multiple terms for that. The amount of nouns. Doom da doom da doom. I like that name. Dom da dom da dom dum. Dom da dom da dom. Dom da dom da dom. That's fun. That's fun to say. Thanks for coming. I don't know if you're still here. I'm kind of behind on the chat history here. May you receive my call. I don't see a call, Zishan, but you already called once. If you got another question, you can type it down. But if you really want, yeah, you can call. Jishnu. Shall I call versus would I call versus will I call difference. So, wait a minute. So we got someone. Okay, Zishan's trying to join. Zishan, I'll answer that call, but give me a few minutes to answer some of these other questions first. Okay? So, shall I call, would I call, will I call? So these are all formatted shall I, would I, will I. These are all formatted as questions. So you're asking questions here. Shall I call? Would I call? Will I call? There is a difference between them as questions, but there's a bigger difference between them as statements. I shall, I would, and I will call. All right, so as questions, there is a difference though, right? Shall I, question. This is kind of making a suggestion, right? Suggesting, all right? Shall I call the restaurant and make some reservations? I'm asking if I should do this. Is this a suggestion? All right. Would I call the restaurant and make some reservations? This sounds more like you're responding to someone as a rhetorical question because someone asked you, would you call? All right, so it's like someone's asking you, and so you're responding with like a rhetorical question. Sounds kind of weird. And then will I call blah 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 blah? Again, this sounds like a rhetorical response to someone else's question. Will you call? All right. So the differences between these are, as a question, are very minor because it's kind of dependent on context. But contextually, normally the would I, will I are kind of like rhetorical questions in response to another question. It's like, oh, would you call? Would I call? Yeah, I would call. All right, will you call? Will I call? Yeah, I'll call. Or no, I won't call. So, yeah, it sounds kind of like a rhetorical response, like kind of like maybe sarcastic even. All right, but as statements, they're a little bit more different. All right, so I shall and I will, as statements, these are basically equivalent. I shall call, I will call. This is happening, right? This is going to happen. I would, as a statement, is typically going to be used in the beginning of some kind of conditional, usually a second conditional. All right, something like, if you asked me to, I would call to make reservations. Or I would call to make reservations if you asked me to. All right, so yeah, that sounds more like a conditional statement. Okay. Is that an answer? Does that satisfy your question there? Is that satisfactory? Let me know. Let me know if you need some more detail there. And of course, as usual, I'll let you know that you can see what I'm writing down if you watch on YouTube, right? So you can pull it up on YouTube and then you can see all my notes and stuff. Okay? So don't be shy. Actually, I haven't even checked the YouTube chat in a while. Smooth operator is an adjective idiom. Well, is an idiomatic adjective is what you're saying. He is a smooth operator. All right, so no, grammatically it functions more like a noun. A smooth operator. Right? It's a descriptive noun. Yeah, but it's not an idiomatic adjective. Gosh, I can't really. I'm not really thinking of anything here. We'll come back to it maybe. I can't think of any idiomatic adjectives right now. I don't know why. We could say smooth operating as an idiomatic adjective. Like, he's a smooth operating guy. All right, that works. A smooth operating guy. Now it's functioning as an idiomatic adjective because our noun is guy. A guy. He's a guy. He's a smooth operating guy. Now, grammatically, it's functioning as an adjective. Okay, thanks for that, Carrie. Yeah, thanks. Thanks for the assist. Now, let's see. What do we got here? Let's answer Jasen's call really quick. Let's see what Jasen has going on here. Here we go. Zishan, what's up? You got another question for us?
Yes, sir.
What's up? What do you got?
No, sir. Actually, I want you to check my pronunciation here, sir, because my pronunciation bad. Right now, I had practiced a lot in English language.
Okay, I mean, your pronunciation sounds pretty good to me. Is there anything in particular that you want me to listen to?
Yes, actually, it doesn't sound like a native speaker or not. You know.
Well, it's not native, it's native, right? Native.
Native.
Well, that's okay, Zishan. You're not a native speaker, so why should you sound like a native speaker? So what you're talking about is accent, right? Pronunciation is more of a measurement of, can I understand the words that you're saying? In which, yes, I can understand you. Accent is like kind of like the weird little changes in pronunciation between different regions or different countries. If you want to have a native accent, I would say, like, don't bother. Unless you're an actor, if you're like a famous actor, then you might need to work on accent and stuff. If you're a spy or an assassin, then you might need a really good accent so you don't get, caught, being a spy or an assassin. But if you're not an actor, a spy, or an assassin, don't worry about it. I think accents are fun, right? Like, I like to speak in an Irish accent sometimes. I think it's one of my best accents. I find the Irish accent to be pretty easy, but it's for fun. I do that for fun. It's not a serious skill. Your pronunciation sounds pretty good. As long as that's good, don't worry about it. Huh?
Yeah, so sir, I can understand very fast English language and use, but there's a little bit destruction and problematical things to understand.
Mm-hmm.
American sounds comparatively in American, sort of British.
Sure, and even then, a lot of people, they like the American accent, they want the American accent, but even the American accent, it's not monolithic, right? There's no such thing as one American accent. There's a lot of American accents too. There's a lot of different ones. When people talk about the American accent, what they're usually talking about is actually the broadcast American accent. That's the accent I am using now. It's the broadcast American accent. That's the one you see on TV. You hear it more often in movies or on the news. That's not a real accent. It's a standardized, like, homogenized American accent. It takes the accent, like, common average accent features from everywhere and puts it into one. But it's not a real accent anyway. My native accent, I'm from Texas. So whenever I start, like, if I have a drink or if I relax, I sound a little bit more like this. I'm accentuating it right now, but the Texas accent's a little different than the American accent. Or the New York accent is also a little different from the Texas accent. Or that didn't sound very good. The Boston accent is different from the New York accent, right? So don't worry about it, is what I'm trying to say here. Like, even if you have an American accent, there's a bunch of American accents. All right, there's a lot of those too. Who cares?
Listen, sir.
Huh?
I want to know actually the difference between American and British accent. When I heard actually British accent and American accent, there's no difference between bigger and American and British accent.
Well, it's not that there is no difference. You can't hear the difference, right? But that comes with more experience, right? You have to actually train your ear for that, right? So your brain, if it's not trained to hear the difference, it won't. It will not hear the difference, all right? But Who cares, though? I mean, honestly, it doesn't matter that much. I would focus more on just practicing the language, trying to find more conversation partners, learning new vocabulary. Don't worry about the accent.
Yeah, definitely.
Not a big deal.
Yeah,
Yeah.
sir. Can you suggest me actually how can I handle all things at one time? Actually, focusing on the words and pronunciation, word remembering.
I'm sure I could suggest a lot of things for different stuff. We're gonna have to narrow that down, right? Tell you what, send me some more specific questions. Maybe if not, we might not have time to go over that kind of stuff today in the live stream because we only have another 20 minutes. But you can always post a question on the question videos. I try to put out one of those at least like once a week or so. Okay. But yeah, don't be shy. You can always ask a question. All right. But I have a lot of people that have a lot of anxieties and fears surrounding accents, and just don't worry about that. Pronunciation is a separate thing. As long as people can understand the words you're saying, you're good. You're gonna be fine. Okay. All right. I gotta get back to some of these other questions. Thanks for calling back, Zishan. Don't be a stranger. All right. I'll see you later.
Thank you for Universal Prince One. Thank you for Universal Prince One who was commenting me in the.
Yeah, Universal Prince is always really helpful, isn't he? He's great. I love that guy. Yeah, he's one of my favorites. All right, later, Zishan. Yeah, Universal Prince is getting shout-outs from everybody, huh? Here's something he's got right here. We use little and a little with uncountable nouns, whereas we use few and a few with countable nouns. Sure. Yep, there we go. That's true. Universal Prince. Little has negative meaning. It means almost none. A little has some positive meaning. A little means some, but not so much. It is less than enough. Okay, sure, yeah, great. The order of quantifiers on a scale is none, little, a little, enough, a lot. Okay, great. All right, yeah, he's doing my job for me. All right, great. Universal Prince says we can use some, a lot, lots of, with both countable and uncountable nouns. Yeah, that's true too. Great. I'm happy about it. Let's see. Suhani, I think she's probably already gone by now. Bye. Sorry. Sorry I didn't wave at you earlier. The meaning of a lot and lots of is the same. Okay, we can make a sentence correctly if we know the part of speech, that particular idiom. Yes, great. Idioms is adjectives. Big-headed, down-to-earth, have a short fuse. Thanks, Ishan. Yeah, you're right. Yeah, those are some nice idiomatic adjectives. Nothing was coming to mind, though, right? He's a big-headed guy. He's a real down-to-earth guy. Having a short fuse. Because, the way that we're using it here, you have a short fuse. So that one I would say is more like an idiomatic noun, right? The short fuse. But he could be a short fused guy, so then that would be using it as more of an idiomatic adjective. Sure, yeah, definitely. Oh shoot, you know what? I gotta check YouTube. Independent. Well, independent. Yeah, I mean, independent is an adjective, but I wouldn't call it idiomatic, right? That's a pretty direct adjective there. Universal Prince says, shall I call? Should I call? Oh no, you're giving an example. You don't actually want to call. I was like, yeah, go ahead and call. Hey, Shalush. This is a cool name. Shalushajan. Shalushajan. That sounds cool. I like that. Shalushajan. Am I saying that correctly? Probably not. But I like that. Shalushajan. Shalushajan. That sounds cool. Wow, okay, I guess we did hit the end of some of those questions there. Okay, sure. I thought that there were a lot more questions, but it was actually Prince just kind of giving some suggestions and stuff. All right, shall I call is kind of suggestion. Well, yeah, we can. Shall I, should I? Yeah, should I call, shall I call? Yeah, shall I, sometimes it's not even really used as a suggestion. It's kind of more like an open-ended question, like shall I call? Like maybe someone else should call? I don't know. All right, so it's kind of open-ended sometimes. Oh, shoot, no, that was not the end of the scrolling. Oh, yo, 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 yo. Uh-oh. Ah, la, 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 la. Oh, my goodness, there's so many... it's hard to scroll through this. Let me wave at some people first. Wave, wave, wave. Hey, hey, hey. Thanks for coming. Thanks for coming. A lot of people just kind of bounce in and out of here. Oh, goodness. Here we go. Let's scroll back up here. Okay, here we go. Okay, rhetorical questions. Please tell us more about this. Okay. Well, a rhetorical question. What is a rhetorical question? All right. Cool. Question. So this is, we can kind of think about this in a few different ways. All right. This could be like, let's see here. This could be some kind of question that you actually already know the answer to. A question that you don't really want an answer to. A rhetorical question could also just be like a sarcastic statement, right? Like a sarcastic statement, what's your problem? Sarcastic, rhetorical question, right? Or like you see someone going somewhere. We say, hey, you going somewhere? Right? It's like, yeah, you can see them going somewhere, right? Or you know that your son came home late last night and you want to see if he's lying. So you ask him, hey, did you come home late last night? Right, I already know the answer to that. It's a rhetorical question. Right, so if something's rhetorical, that means that it's used as rhetoric. Right, so if it's rhetoric, it's part of persuasive speaking or persuasive writing. It's language designed to make an impression, but it's not actually sincere or meaningful. All right, so rhetoric is insincere or kind of sometimes meaningless language, right? So, like, rhetoric is very often used in, like, literature or even in politics. Political people use rhetoric or rhetorical language a lot, all right? But it's insincere. It's kind of meaningless language. I found out your secret. You found out your secret of energy, James. In every live stream, you drink the same juice. I, too, will start drinking every day to become as energetic and intelligent as you are. Well, this is just coffee. Yeah, it's just coffee. Whatever. I'll tell you what the real secret of my energy is. The real secret. You ready? Here it is. It's you guys, all right? Y'all, you people watching. Like, if there weren't people watching or participating, and there are recordings of this, of live streams where there aren't people participating, my energy is a lot worse. In fact, I'm in a downright bad mood. I'm, like, complaining about it. So, the secret to good energy and having a nice live stream is actually having people watch and participate in the live stream, which is actually the hardest thing to do, right? That's the hardest part of live streaming, is getting people to come and watch the live stream, right? So you can thank yourself for that, right? So no, y'all are the energy, right? That's actually the secret. Jishnu96 asks, just ratted on me. What does that mean? And then Universal Prince says, Jisan's accent is cool. Okay, yeah, I mean, accents are cool. Like people, native speakers like accents. Some people are very attracted to accents. Some people find some accents more attractive, other accents less attractive. But accents are cool. All right? Having an accent is fine. We all have an accent. Someone just, quote unquote, ratted on me. This is referring to ratting someone out, or to be, quote unquote, a rat, or to rat on someone, right? So that's a very interesting. You must have been watching some kind of like crime movie, or like some kind of crime drama or gangster movie. So this has a lot of crime and gangster context, right? A quote unquote rat, or to rat on someone, means to tell the authorities about them, or to be an official witness against them in the court of law, or like to tell someone's criminal secrets to the police or some other law enforcement body. Enforcement does not start with an I. Enforcement body. Right? So if someone ratted on you, that means they told some kind of official your secrets that are going to get you in some kind of legal trouble. Right? Like, so let's just say that me and Universal Prince were partners in crime, and we go rob a bank. Right? We go rob a bank, but I shoot somebody when we're robbing the bank. Uh-oh. Right? Like, well, Universal Prince didn't want to hurt anybody. He just wanted to steal money. So now he's angry. He feels bad about that. He doesn't want that on his conscience. So he goes to the police. He says, "Okay, look. Me and James, we robbed a bank. Okay, I did it. We robbed the bank, but James shot that person. I didn't do that. James did that." And so the police say, okay, well, now we caught the murderer, so we're happy. So instead of going to jail for 5 years, since you ratted on your friend, we'll only send you to jail for 6 months, and he's going to go to jail for 1,000,000 years, whatever. So you ratted on me. That's to rat someone out. You can rat them out. You can rat on them. You can be a rat. Right? So it's not like rats tell secrets a lot. I think that they just use this term because, especially in the criminal world, it's like really bad to be a rat, and nobody likes rats. Right? What do you do with rats? I guess you kill them. Right? You trap them, you kill them. So that kind of implies what's going to happen to you if you're going to be a rat. You're a vermin. You're a pest. You're, going to be poisoned or killed or something, right? You're a rat. So ratting on someone means to like tell their criminal secrets and like point the finger at them. All right. Spy, right? Yeah. If you're not a spy or something, or an assassin, then don't worry about your accent. I, too, want to speak like Americans because we Indians like the foreign accents very much. I mean, sure. Right, sure. But copying or emulating foreign accents, that's more like a fun hobby. Think of that more like a game. Right? That I do, right? I still work on my Australian accent just kind of for fun, right? It's not an important thing. It doesn't matter. But it's fun, or it can be. I'm really bad at Australian accent. I have to do like a activating phrase. Put another shrimp on the barbie. Put another... But Australians, they kind of inflect up like a question. Put another shrimp on the barbie. Put another shrimp on the barbie. No, that still sounds kind of too British. I don't know. That's a really hard accent for me. Let's keep going through. Dang it, why is it so hard to scroll here? Here we go. If I am not wrong, North American accent is a neutral accent. I don't know. Is it? the broadcast accent, the broadcast American accent is pretty neutral, but it still has average or standard accent features of American accents. But if you listen to someone from Minnesota and then someone from New York and someone from Boston saying the exact same thing, it's going to sound pretty different. In my opinion, the most neutral American accent to me seems to be Californian. Right? I think that's the Californian accent. The Californian accent sounds pretty neutral to me. It's just a little bit more. I'm trying to speak in a California. It's like a little bit faster. They'll talk a little bit faster and they'll inflect things up more often. But that seems to be the biggest accent difference. I think a lot of people in California really use the broadcast accent because they're all in show business. Well, not a lot of them are in show business, especially in LA. It's kind of hard to tell who's from where because a lot of people are just using the broadcast accent. Right? They don't want you to know where they're from. LA is a weird city. It's a weird place. Most people aren't from there, and they don't want you to know where they are from. Right? You're good at accents, James. Well, thanks, but only a few. Zisan, use Cambridge Online Dictionary to find out the differences between U.S. and U.K. pronunciation. That's true. Yeah, the Cambridge Dictionary will help you out with that, but only with those two, right? They won't tell you how an Irish person would pronounce it. There are YouTube channels for that, though. There are YouTube channels for that. People don't care accent. Like an interview, my accent is Indian English. Well, let me be fair. There are people who care about accents, right? Like they will not like someone with an Indian accent, or they'll disrespect someone with a Mexican accent. But I don't mind that, right? Because if someone's going to judge you unfairly or harshly for your accent when they themselves also have an accent, that person is a fool and is probably some kind of racist, right? So if they make fun of your accent or have some kind of problem with your accent, you probably shouldn't try to work for them anyway. Probably not a good, valuable use of your time. So it's kind of a strong indicator of what kind of person they are, right? Anyone who speaks more than one language, their secondary or third language, fourth language, whatever, they're gonna have a strong accent. But you speak multiple languages. So, like, when an American talks shit about accents, I'm like, well, how many languages do you speak? Like, why don't you try learning a second language and see how your accent sounds? And then try to pass some judgment, right? So only ignorant fools, judgmental, ignorant fools, really care a lot about accents, all right? It's a judgmental, ignorant, foolish thing. And, 99% of the time, if someone disrespects you or dislikes you because of your accent, they probably only speak one language and they're an ignorant fool, right? So it's kind of a nice, what's the term I'm thinking of here? Kind of a nice flag, right? It's a red flag, right? It's like, oh, your accent? Oh, it's like, okay, well, probably if someone has a problem with your accent or is judging you negatively due to your accent, they're a fool, and they're an ignorant fool at that. Now, that's not to say that bad pronunciation isn't a problem, right? If your accent is so strong that your pronunciation suffers, now that is actually a communication problem that needs to be fixed. But that's different. As long as your pronunciation is reasonable and you can understand the words you're saying, if someone has a problem with your accent, then you should probably just ignore that person. That's a pretty safe bet. They're not a worthwhile person to even talk to. I'm a huge fan of James. Well, thanks. Let's see here. Actually, we can't see the computer screen clearly unless we join on YouTube. Can you fix this issue in the upcoming live streams? I would like to. I would really like to. The best thing, really, would be if I could live stream on the computer on Instagram. But like I've said before, for whatever reason, I'm not able to do that. I don't know why. Some people can live stream on Instagram on their computer, but most people can't. And I don't know why. It's so weird. I don't know. It's kind of frustrating, really. It's really annoying. I could always try like move the phone closer, but the best thing to do would just to be to watch on YouTube, I guess, or watch it later on YouTube. Sorry, yeah, I don't know. I mean, yeah, I don't know. To be frank with you, some criminals can easily escape from punishment in India if they are super rich or very influenced. That is not just true in India, buddy. Trust me on that. That is not just true in India. That's 100% true here. If you have enough money here, then you're not even a criminal anymore because you can buy some politicians and they'll change the laws for you. All right, so yeah, that's true everywhere, unfortunately. Okay, that's our live stream time today, everybody. I feel like the last few minutes there I was just kind of ranting about accents and I don't know. Sorry. All right. Thanks for everybody for participating. Always really, really, really appreciate that. It makes things so much better. I love it when I get questions. We got some really nice questions today. So just thank you so much. Love the questions. And remember, if you need help with your English, you need www.needhelpenglish.com. Education, training, success, all that good stuff. Thank you, everybody, for coming. Be here again, same time next week. All right? See y'all later. Let's shut it down here. Bada doom, bada bing. And now we can shut it down on YouTube. Boom. Okay. End.